Hello there. Have you fallen into an open manhole recently? Do you find yourself in the company of a stranger? Well, then you might very well be in the future underground. My name is Hunter Lanier, and I'm alone. Because I'm the only one that has seen the first 4 episodes of Loki. Mr. Disney himself brought them to my home, and we watched them together. So this is a solo review. I don't like being here alone, but this is what we got to do. Okay, so Loki season 2. For context, I did watch season 1. Didn't care for it. It got better toward the end. Started to build some actual momentum instead of this kind of treadmill momentum, which is a lot of what season 2 has. I'm going to start the season 2 review with the things that I liked. I should say the thing that I liked, because I only liked one thing. And it's the same thing that I liked from the first season, which is the production design. It has that kind of 1950s teal, everything is round, combined with that 1980s wood paneling, the 1980s tech, retro tech. All the computers are little boxes. So I like the way the world looks, and I like that faux. It's not an original idea, but the idea that some kind of afterlife would be a hopeless, bureaucratic hellscape. Think about The Apartment or Brazil, any of those kind of bureaucratic, stuffy environments. So I like that this little timeline, dimensional office looks like some horrible, cubicle-laden 9-to-5 hellscape. Beyond that, I don't think the show has a lot going for it, and I want to say that I'm not trying to hate on Marvel nerdy stuff. I like it. I want to like it. I'm open to it. I just watched the most recent Guardians of the Galaxy movie, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and I thought it was great. And the show. Loki season 2. Hold on, let me take a sip. Essentially, what the show is a lot of characters running around, doing things, saying things to each other, but nothing they're doing or saying is altogether interesting. It's a very lazy form of writing, where you're just sort of like a treadmill. You're just sort of pretending that things are happening. And as the audience, they expect us to kind of go along with it. But there's no emotional center. There's no intellectual center. There's no idea that everything... I don't expect a show about Loki, the god of whoopee cushions, whatever he's about. I don't expect this guy's story to be an emotional one. Although you could go that way with the whole father and daughter and mother and brother, the whole family angle. But I could see them going a more idea-focused route with Loki. Have it be a battle of wits, okay? But that's not what the show is. The show, any other character could be who Loki is in this show. This show could be starring Scott Bakula. This show could be starring, Guy Pearce from Iron Man 3. Any character from any show could be playing Loki in this show, that's a huge problem. The show should be unique to him, unique to that character, and it's a great character. There's a reason that this show exists, is because people were attracted to that character. So that's an issue. Let me see what else I got here. Let me pull up my notes. Oh. One comparison I wanted to make to this show is, I think, an apt one, because It's also a superhero show. It was on FX, I want to say 7, 8 years ago. It was called Legion. And it did this very thing a lot better because essentially that show was about a superhero who was schizophrenic, and the schizophrenia manifested itself into the design of the show and the storytelling of the show, which meant everything was very it had this kind of psychedelic ayahuasca spirit journey narrative. And it just had so much more creative, I almost want to say it, like a creative swagger to it. It got you into its rhythm a little better. Loki season 2, it feels very generic. It feels like it feels like a lot of these Disney products. It feels like a product. It doesn't feel like there's any real creative force. Like this show, someone had an idea for a show and it just had to exist. They propelled it into existence. This feels like Mr. Disney wrote checked pickles, onions, wheat, and then sent it down the line to have it made. I think Legion, if you're looking for a show that does this kind of thing, this kind of weird, trippy, multi-dimensional kind of story, go watch Legion, wherever that is. I'm sure it's on Hulu or somewhere. Another thing is Loki and Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston, by all accounts, a good actor. I feel like he hasn't been in a lot of things as of late. He was Scott Fitzgerald. I think he was Henry V. He's a Shakespearean actor. Loki's a good character. Sorry, I had to burp. He's a good central protagonist to build a show on. But all of the ancillary characters in this show, none of them are interesting. I can't remember a single person's name other than Owen Wilson, and that's not the character's name, that's the actor's name. But even Owen Wilson's character, he's there's not a lot there. There's some comedy, there's some little like comedic banter that's worked into the show that just not funny. The timing is off. A lot of the show just feels perfunctory and like it doesn't need to exist. The only good character moment in all of the first 4 episodes, which I think there's going to be 6 total. The only good character moment in the whole show was a teenager that works at McDonald's, and it's at the end of episode 2. It's not a spoiler. And he asks the older lady that works at McDonald's if she's going to be there the next day because he has a crush on her. But he doesn't say that. It's just kind of obvious the way he asks her. And it's a nice little character moment. And we never see that guy again. But as with a lot of these superhero movies, oftentimes there's a certain character that has one line. And it's like, man, I wish I could go with that guy. I wish I could see what he's doing today. It's like there was a Marvel comic series in the early 90s, I think, that I read called Marvels. And it was about a photographer. And you see all the big superhero stuff happening in the background, but it's really about a regular person who just happens to live in this world where all these crazy things are happening. All in all, this show suffers from what a lot of these types of shows suffer from, which is, at their heart, they're network TV shows from 1998 with high production value, and people get caught up in this high production value, and because the show looks like The Sopranos from a production value, or it looks like a Mad Men, or it looks like The Americans, it's got some claim to that type of quality, but it doesn't. It's just a really good looking, forgettable TV show from 1998 that you just kind of turned on and you did whatever you do in 1998 while the show was on in the background. It's not prestige television. I think that era is over. Now let's look at it from this perspective. Do you have a child? Can you put a child in front of this show and that child will be distracted for 45 minutes? Yes, I think you can. I, th- I think this is the type of show that is designed to, every 7 seconds it has to do a cut or something. It has to do something that keeps your attention. And a child, I think, will be mesmerized by people running back and forth and saying things that their inflection would insinuate importance, but it's not really there. Get them a bowl of cereal, plop them in front of this TV, and let Loki raise your children. The last thing I want to bring up is the Loki character, because I feel like the show does him a disservice. He doesn't. I think the show wants him to be a good character and likable. And so he's not really, he's not a scamp. He's not backstabbing people. He's not, he's not doing Loki things. He's just being a bland, vanilla protagonist of Disney show. And it's a huge disservice. It's what makes him interesting in the first place, is that he's kind of a bad guy. He's not supposed to be. He's likable in the way that you feel like you shouldn't like him, but you kind of do. It's like those girls who would go to Ted Bundy's court cases. There's a psychological truth to that. It's okay to like fictional bad people. That's all I'm saying. Tony Soprano, horrible person, amazing character. And I realize this is Disney. I'm just saying. Okay, well, that's all I got. I didn't give away any story stuff because I don't think it's that important. It's just a lot of things rotating. Every single week on this channel, we review a movie currently streaming on the Criterion channel. But, when I get press screenings or early screeners, we will do videos like this one. So come back next week or whichever day that videos come out. Just subscribe. It's easy to subscribe. And guess what? You don't have a limited number of subscriptions. You can subscribe to us. It's fine. You won't lose out on someone else. You have an infinity gauntlet amount of subscriptions. It's not like if you subscribe to too many magazines, the mailman won't be able to fit them all in your mailbox. It's not like that at all. So subscribe, like us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all this stuff. And if there's demand, we can review these episodes one by one. I don't think there will be, but just in case. Remember, kids, every day underground is a good day.